Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode here at the Early Intervention Brothers YouTube channel. David, are you frozen?
No, I thought you were saying you're ready to level up.
Well, you're supposed to say something before then. Man, we're rusty. David,
Yes.
are you ready to level up?
Yeah, I'm ready to level up.
I think we're gonna go this way because that's how it is.
This
Ooh.
way?
Oh, we're going into the camera.
I don't know.
I think side to the side. Ready? To the side, to the side. Boom. All right. There we go. David, how you been?
I'm good. How you been?
Been good. I've been good. Actually, it's been a while since we recorded. But hey, soon enough, we'll be able to get back into doing some in-person recording so we can
Yeah, I know.
side by side.
Sounds like we have a couple things planned out for this month, and I'm excited to get those things rolling.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The topic that we want to discuss today, it's going to be that opening up and getting back to in-person learning. How do you feel about that, David?
There's some pros and cons about that, Alex, because through this whole experience of telehealth and transitioning to telehealth for early intervention, it's it's been challenging for myself, but it's also been challenging for some of my parents. On the other hand, some of my parents have taken that challenge, and some of my parents have gone above and beyond with the telehealth services by taking on those challenges and really challenging the strategies in their parenting style.
No, sure.
It's been an honor seeing some of my parents blossom into the parents and the potential parents that parenting skills that they want to be and want to have. So that's part of the cons of it. I still have some parents struggling with some of those strategies and techniques day to day in their learning with their children. But as long as they are showing up in my Zooms and taking something from my Zoom and applying it in their everyday life and their everyday routines with their child, we're making positive memories and positive learning moments with the time that we have.
And do you think once we're back in home working with the families directly, that some of those challenges or concerns they're not going to be as tough? Or do you still foresee having some issues because still we have to maintain social distancing and we have to be very mindful that yes, we're not out of the pandemic, but we're still going to be doing the service in home.
Well, in home to telehealth, it was a little challenging because I've always been a big believer of parent coaching in my therapy and in my interventions. So I don't see it as a challenging once we go back in because through this experience in telehealth, my parent coaching has only gotten stronger.
Yeah. No, I
When I
agree.
go into session, I'm not running the activities; the parents running the activities.
Wait, when you mean
And,
you
and
go
bef-
telehealth or when you go into the home?
when I go into the homes, I'm not going to go back to an old pattern where the teacher was doing, let's say 50% of the work. I'm going to be doing the the 10%. The parent's going to be doing the 90%.
As it
I'm there
should be.
just going to I I'm just going to be in there advocating the parent how we should be rolling out some of these strategies and interventions.
Yeah, because if we look
Once
at
again,
it, if we're providing that direct service, if we're doing all of the work and we're only in the home a few hours out of the entire week, we'll say max 2 or 3 hours a week, it really falls on the parents and having an understanding and having the confidence to maintain control of providing the service in the way that it's meant to be provided. Because if they can do that and follow through, they're going to see a change in a positive way in their child's behavior.
right, and don't get me wrong, there's going to be cases where that 10% needs to go to 15% to 20% when we come into some behaviors or when we come into some roadblock strategy because every day is a new day for the child and sometimes they have bad days.
Yeah, true, just
And when
like
we have
us.
bad days, there's learning experiences through those bad days.
Yeah.
There's certain things where tendencies where parents will react to those bad days and the child finds a pattern that works. And unfortunately, that I'm talking strictly about enabling those behaviors um, rather than discontinuing those behaviors.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I think it's a positive. Maybe we're looking at the glass half filled here, but for me, I'm excited because again, I'm going to be going in the home, but I'm
Mm.
not going to be the one running my sessions. The parent's going to be running the session. And I think the great experience of this telehealth is I've built very, very strong bonds with my caseload, and it's like we're basically leading off another foot rather than starting off on another foot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be a
We already have
change.
we already have a we already have a foundation laid out, especially for the cases I've been seeing for months to months.
Hmm.
We already have a foundation already laid out.
So let me
We don't
ask
have
you,
to.
the clients that you currently have you seen them in person?
I haven't seen any of them in person.
And what
Everything
type
has
of
been.
challenges do you think are going to arise from that?
I think for the parent, there's not going to be many challenges. I think it's going to be more so when I meet my actual client,
The kiddo,
the
the
actual
child.
kids.
Hmm.
Yes.
How do you think
Now,
that's going to
granted, they
impact
do
the
see me. They
process,
do.
though?
I think it might take a session or two, but of course, me being a veteran teacher, I know that I'm going to have to sort of understand there's going to be a little bit of a spike of anxiety for them. There's going to be a little spike of awkwardness.
Hmm.
But me knowing that as a veteran teacher, I'm going to come in there very, very equipped and knowing that and processing that emotion, processing those feelings. And I'm going to apply what I know best, and that's learning through play.
Exactly, because we do have to be mindful that we're going to be going in, we're still going to be maintaining our best with social distancing, and we are going to have our masks on and up. And if the parents are taking their child out because they have to, like to the store, so the children are seeing people in masks. But now the kicker is the child has been hearing your voice on the computer. Now they're going to be hearing your voice in person with the mask over it.
In person. One of the things one of my parents just recently told me is that I have a unique voice. And I was like, what do you like? I didn't know if to take that personal or to take that as like a compliment. But they said I have a unique voice. Like the sound of my voice is raspy. That's what they were saying. My voice is very raspy. And I'm like, I've never had that comment ever made to me. But I'll take it as a good compliment.
No, it's a unique voice. I mean, raspy? Yeah, I guess I can see that. I mean, if you think David has a raspy voice, put it in the comments. How do you think our voices sound?
Put
Because
it below.
put it below. I guess that never really dawned on me about that. And I was
And
asked,
like I said, I took it as a compliment.
yeah, and I was asked that question. How do I feel about going back and providing the service in home? And it never really dawned on me. I didn't have any real thought on it because I'm a professional home visitor. This is what I do with my life. This is my career. And the fact that it's been taken because we've having to adjust to telehealth, I'm more excited than nervous. Because
I,
like how you said, we've developed new skills over the last year in communicating. We've had to deliver the service as functionally possible through a screen. And a lot of that comes with our ability to communicate. And now we get to take that year of practice of this new skill or enhancing that skill, and we get to provide it in person. And you know what that makes us? Dangerous. That makes us really dangerous.
dangerous.
Hmm.
You know, I do have some of my cases where they're asking me, how is it going to be in session? What's the structure going to look like? And exactly how you're explaining it, I tell them exactly what we're doing over this Zoom is what we're going to apply in our actual face to face. But I'm going to be observing. I'm not going to be interacting. We're going to stay social distancing
Yep.
type of plan. And of course, masks are going to be required. And I know I'll be wearing my mask. Obviously, the child might not be able to wear a mask, which is perfectly fine. But of course, we're going to try to do our best to once again adapt and move forward
Yeah.
with the required regulations that we have.
Yeah, life got to move on.
Um,
It didn't stop. Them
right?
progressing,
No, like
the lack thereof didn't stop. But we need to move forward and make that connection
it,
and really help them catch up.
are you a fan of the Marvel movies, Alex?
I am. I am.
Okay, the last Avengers where Thanos snapped his fingers and like half of the population left.
Okay. I
And
see
then
where you're going with
5 years later they came back and it was like a different world and a
this.
different
Hmm.
that's what I envision some of the professions and some of the things that are slowly coming back.
Man,
It's
that's
like we've been off for like a full year,
yeah.
and it's like sort of like we were gone type
We
of
got
deal.
snapped out of
And
existence.
you know so but once again we're going to adapt, we're going to move forward.
Hmm.
Lots of perseverance is something that's been thrown around a lot, especially for my moms and dads that have been through the ringer of this whole COVID-19.
Hmm.
If it doesn't break you,
Stronger, baby.
it makes you stronger. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of my families can put that phrase into perspective because they have came out a lot stronger in their parenting.
Yeah, they have, because they're present so much more. And with that comes those challenges of how can I keep my child occupied while I'm working, or how can I mesh or blend in that I'm home a lot more, I may be working a lot more. I need to make sure that I find the time to interact with my child, and it's a
Another
balance.
hot question for me that I get to ask weekly is, the social engagement of peers.
Yeah.
It, it completely went down to zero
Hmm.
for a lot of my families,
No.
and their own peer interaction is within the household.
With their
Well, if it's an
siblings,
only
if they have
child,
siblings.
yeah, if it's an only child, then you literally have mom, dad, and that's it of
No, true.
interaction. You don't have a grandma or an auntie or an uncle or a tia or a tio. You know, it's literally just them three in the house. And
Yeah.
how easily are you isolated to those personalities?
No, true.
It's quite easy. It's quite
No, it
easy.
is.
So a lot of the issues that we're seeing is when we are slowly taking them out to parks or slowly transitioning them to maybe grocery stores again, we're seeing lots of high behaviors because we don't the children don't know how to react to
No.
certain things on those social cues or the social engagement with peers.
Whole new world.
So and sort of once again the anxieties are spiking because we're in a unique situation again, to where do we allow the social engagement? Do we
Hmm.
allow peer-to-peer interaction? Do we not allow it?
Yeah.
And it's something that we haven't really crossed because COVID-19 is still really very active around us.
Yeah.
And until we have a little bit more understanding on what we can and can't do as far as the peer-to-peer interaction, I think those anxieties and behaviors are going to stick around for a while.
Yeah. And you bring up a valid point. Social interaction is a huge aspect of development in the first 3 to 5 years of life. There's a lot of our kiddos who haven't played at a park, or have gone a full year with not playing in a park. There is a large population of infants and toddlers who haven't seen a big group of infants and toddlers. And how do children learn? By observing, by watching, and then trying to imitate.
Right?
And a whole
That
bunch of kiddos didn't get that opportunity this last year.
it's sort of once again the snap of the fingers, it's gone.
Yeah. Now we got to snap our fingers and get back to it and really step up our game. And for
I
any
agree.
parent who's watching, don't be worried or don't hesitate to seek out services. We're still here. We adjust, we adapt in order to meet your needs. Although we can't be doing it in person and we can't do it how it was before, we're still really good at what we do. And there's a ton of professionals out there who are great at what they do. So if you have concerns, don't wait. Don't allow the pandemic to be an excuse, because the first 3 to 5 years of your child's life sets them up for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. So take action. We got to do as much as we can with what we
I
got.
agree.
So that's going to
And
be
unfortunately,
anything else you want to add to it, David?
yeah, I would say if you have family, if you have friends, if you have neighbors, preach about early intervention because services do exist.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned you earlier this week. My other job that I work as a football coach, I was just talking to some of my 14 and 15-year-olds, and they asked me what I do. They thought I was a security guard,
I can see that.
and I had to let them down that I'm not a security guard,
Well,
and I
technically
let
you
them
are.
know that
Technically you
I,
are.
I'm a
You have to guard and be kind of the law when you're providing the service. We set the boundary, so technically you are like a security guard.
well, I had to correct them and let them know I'm a child development specialist. And they asked, well, what's that? So then I had to explain what those classifications are for that, and then I let them know what clientele I have. And it was actually I was very surprised because a lot of them were letting me know that their sister or that their brother received like speech therapy, occupational therapy. And then I asked them, well, do you guys know what early intervention is? And they had no clue what that was, but they did know occupational therapy
Yeah.
services. They were aware of speech therapy services. So I happened to let them know about early intervention services. And a couple of my 14 or 15-year-old football players say that their brother or sister might have received those services. They just didn't know what it was called.
And
So
that's heartbreaking, because we do provide a service that has a huge impact on development and people don't know about it. Like you and I have that understanding that you don't know about early intervention unless you need it, unless your child needs it or a relative needs it. And it
right,
shouldn't be that way because it's a huge service and it's not a hand out, it's a hand up. And it's building a base for that infant and toddler to be successful, like I said, for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years of their life, based on the type of early education or early intervention that they received when they needed it.
right, and I understand early intervention is, once again, it's not promoted. You don't see commercials for it. You don't see billboards, but you have us promoting it as much as we can on our social media platforms and our YouTube platforms. But it was awesome to hear that they knew some type of service
Yeah.
existed for that. And
Yeah.
I did have to advocate and educate them what early intervention is. And I still have parents to this day where they refer me as a speech therapist or they refer me as an occupational therapist.
Yeah.
And I have to correct them and let them know that no, I just don't specifically work on one type of development. I'm a child development specialist where I work on all 7 areas of development,
Yeah.
depending on where the delay was alerted to us, where we need to focus on. So not that I just work, granted, I do have speech cases, I do have fine motor cases, I do have social emotional cases, but I work on all areas of
Because
development.
it's all interconnected, baby. You need to be well balanced in every area.
That's correct.
So, David, we're going to go ahead and end it on that topic. Great conversation. I look forward to being able to do it again, and I can't wait for us to get back in person. Anything you want to leave our viewers with?
No, I would say during this time, let's be patient with COVID-19. Let's be patient with our interventions that are being played, and make sure you just educate yourself on the safety precautions of COVID. And please, please don't hold off on services if you feel your child does have some type of delay,
Exactly.
or a family member saying, "Oh, wait another year or another 2 years, I'll wait till he's 5 or 6."
Yeah.
No, please just seek out service. I know it's a hard topic to address, especially in a tight knit family.
Yeah.
But these services exist for a reason. I've had plenty of cases. I know, Alex, you've had plenty of cases where they're only eligible maybe for 6 months, because after 6 months of the intervention, there's no significant delay anymore that
Exactly.
qualifies them.
Exactly.
And this isn't something that's going to be on your permanent record. It's not going to follow you everywhere you go. But it sometimes everyone needs a little bit of help at
Exactly.
some point in their life.
Preach.
It's like having your AAA card. I never use it, but I still pay the membership every year.
Yep, you need it, right? You need it. Well,
But when your battery dies, you need it.
you need it. It's a lifeline, right? And that's what earlier intervention is. It's a lifeline. It's a hand up, not a handout. And it's there to establish a solid foundation for your infant and toddler. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already, and watch out for more videos. David, till next time.
Thank you, Alex. I'll see you in another week or so.
All right, brother. You take care.
Have a good one.
You too.